And so let us go to the final presentation of this afternoon. Vincent, I need to find your CV. I have too many papers in my hand. Vincent, let me go to the first page. Vincent Byendaimira is the acting director of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and in that the Department for Physical Planning and Urban Development. I'm very glad, Vincent, that you are also with us. The heavy duty for you to conclude this afternoon, but then we will pick up. So think about your questions for this afternoon after Vincent talked, and we will do a wrap up both of the morning and the afternoon in a smooth connection to that. Yoshi, I will ask you also to make some concluding thoughts on the morning session. I will do so in the afternoon, and for the time we have, we will still invite more comments from you. But I'm running ahead now. Vincent, first over to you. Oh.
I'm going to request for your permission, Bruno, to give an energizer to the audience. Use 1 minute of my presentation to give an energizer so that we are back to the room. Is that accepted? No, I want to do a small exercise that will bring us back to the room. Okay. I would have danced and then required you to reproduce my, strokes, but then I know that might be complicated. So I'm going to request that we write a simple word using our heads. I request you to stand up. Kindly stand up. I will demonstrate. If you were to write my name, Vincent, using higher cases, capital letters, you do like this. That is V. That is I. This is N. So I'm going to request we write either Bruno or Nepal. Which one should we write? Nepal. Okay. We start with N. Please be careful, don't break your neck. N. E. P. A. And L. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to warn you that I came prepared more to take than to give. So after my presentation, I'm going to request if there are any questions for me. Maybe they will be more of giving me than asking me actually to give more. But feel free anyhow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to share this podium this afternoon with Nolisa, who I look up to. I think she has shaped Malaysia, has been a part of the people who have shaped Malaysia's spatial planning. We look to Malaysia in Uganda for spatial planning. And I'm glad that this afternoon I share the podium. I'm honored to share the podium with her. We are talking about Uganda's nascent National Development Plan and its contribution to climate resilience in urban development in Uganda. I must begin by telling you that our National Development Plan has a chapter on climate resilience, climate change, but it is not specific to urban development. And so I had to come in and fish out. But since I have been here since morning, I have actually picked quite a bit, and I can assure you that I'm going to have that chapter written after today. This is what I will cover: introduction and background and overview of the plan, and then of course its implications and its contribution to climate resilience, resilient urban development in Uganda. I don't have to delay on this. This is my ministry. My ministry is Land, Housing and Urban Development. That is our vision. That's our mission. I'm sure these presentations will be available and you could be able to see those in detail. And that's our mandate. I certainly would want to show a little bit about my country. My taxi guy who brought me here had never heard of Uganda, so I thought maybe it's necessary. Yeah, Kenya is our neighbor to the east, Tanzania to the south. Rwanda touches us a little bit. DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, to the west, and South Sudan to the north. Those are our figures, 241,000 square kilometers in area, and population currently about 42 million currently. And this is estimated to rise to 73 million in another few years, in 2070, well, few decades, 2070, and by 2100, if we move at the current trajectory, will be 100 million. And when I checked, we would be the 11th most populous country in the world, 11th. Those are other statistics. Now, that situation, the population situation, is what makes it necessary, is what made it necessary for us to get into this planning. I now start overview of the plan itself. It was approved by Cabinet only last year in November. This is our first national spatial plan, very first one. It hinges on two main variables, naturally, population and land. So it really tries to balance population and land. Sustainable urbanization is proposed as a strategy for accommodating growing population while freeing land for agriculture. And that's really the main basis for the discussion on climate change, because we think that when we move people, most people into urban areas, our current growth is about 5.2% urban population growth, but our rate is still very low at just about 30% of the population is in urban. So we think that if we move more people to the urban areas, then we free the rural areas, and then we can have more meaningful agriculture there, because our biggest challenges in climate change in the country, both urban and rural, is really food security and also disasters. We are a landlocked country, as you saw. And urban areas mostly suffering from disasters, but then if we do a deliberate move and we make sure that planning happens before we move the population, then we should be able to have the right urban areas. Oh, that's the one of the drawings of the plan. In the center, I will talk about that bioregion. You can see that blue area. I'll talk about it later. It follows the River Nile, those of us who have heard of River Nile. The plan's key assumptions. It makes two main assumptions. One is that the urban population is expected to double in those years by 2040, in a few years to come. And it also makes an assumption that the population is growing very fast, to the extent that even if we improved agriculture so much, it will we will still have the population will still put an immense pressure on the country's grasslands, forests, etc., etc. And so I said this is really a synopsis, so I quickly go into objectives and strategies of the plan. With the first one, which touches urbanization quite a bit, maximizing regional balance and equity, where the strategies include establishment of polycentric cities. So we had, until this time, we had one city in the country, Kampala, which was about 2 million, and the next city was just about 200,000. So we have a deliberate effort to establish cities across the country so that we reduce pressure from Kampala, but also we see population going to those other cities. Also, of course, infrastructure linking all the regions, the regional cities. This is maximizing agriculture as the other objective. Now, the importance of this is that when we move the urban populations, then we should be able to have agriculture zones which are more open for mechanized agriculture, where we can have bigger farms which are more responsive to issues, for example, of climate change and things. Objective 3, maximizing agriculture. The other one is agriculture production. This is agriculture. Environment, tourism, and sustainability, where the strategies include creation of a bioregion. The other one that I was talking about. This is a region which is rich in biodiversity, but it is also one of the, it has the highest economic potential. So we've got to have a very delicate balance between the environment and also economic opportunities, exploitation of economic opportunities. You will note that I'm skipping some of the strategies just to keep within time. Objective 5, maximizing the national connectivity and infrastructure, again, very relevant to urbanization. Emphasizing efficient public transportation in urban areas especially, establishing construction of the national expressway and others. And then when you come down, inland water transport and construction of inland ports, but there is also water accessible to households and agriculture. So emphasis on water for production and also water for households. Now, implications of the plan on the growing population and land resources. The strategy is to accommodate growing population and mostly accommodating it in urban areas with systematic increase of population of urban population while freeing land for agriculture. So this, this is Uganda, of course, and you can see that's the main spine infrastructure corridor, which we are proposing, following generally existing main, I think, transport routes. And then we are proposing, all the yellow you see are urban areas. So we are proposing that most urban areas will concentrate along that transport spine. And then we free a lot of other areas for other activities. So we'll prioritize infrastructure and public transport in order to reduce movement, but also manage urbanization and ensure climate resilience as we manage urbanization. After this, we expect lower level plans, which should be able to be more specific. A hierarchy of urban centers in Uganda. We have got a hierarchy of centers from cities coming down. So we expect effective management of settlement systems characterized by a hierarchy of urban centers, as I just mentioned, from cities down to the smallest urban center. And then we would like to emphasize smart compact settlements located along major transport corridors, just like I just demonstrated on the map. We also are looking at prioritization of infrastructure, as I kind of have mentioned already. Water and sewerage, water for domestic and water for production, and also the national expressway. Now, implementation of this plan, of this national physical development plan. One here, we can see the hierarchy of plans in the country, starting with the national, coming down to the regional, down to the district. District is like maybe 100 or so population. The country has about 120 districts. And then we come down to urban and down to local. Now, the local include both in urban and also in rural areas, although we have not yet really gone into rural planning that much yet. So implementation of this plan will include compliance to the plan before any project is admitted into the public investment plan. In the morning, we had quite a bit of that discrepancy. The plan is there, but then how is it implemented? Does it get funding and things like that? So we have requested through cabinet, which approved the plan, that any project that goes for approval should be tested against the plan before it is actually approved and before it comes into the investment plan of government. We are also setting up a spatial data team, and also we'll build its capacity for them to be able to capture all the data. We don't have a very good database of things, where things happen, how things are happening, especially in urban areas. Where do we have all these utilities, et cetera, et cetera. So we are setting that up so that we become a one-stop center, and we are able now to check when projects are coming up that they are compliant. There is also prioritization of flagship projects identified in the plan. There are quite a number of flagship projects that the plan identifies, including, for example, establishment of those 10 cities, including establishment of water treatment plants and the transmission lines, power, et cetera, et cetera. Strengthen land use regulation and compliance department in my directorate, which is supposed to monitor the implementation of all plans, and also all lower level physical development plans to be informed by the National Physical Development Plan. All these below the national going forward must certainly comply with the National Physical Development Plan. How this plan will contribute to climate resilient urban development in Uganda. One, regional balance should remove undue pressure from the prime city. The more pressure there is on a city, the more it is likely to move away from the correct line. We have got population going into wetlands, population going into areas prone to flooding, population going into high areas which are prone in the city, not so much landslide, but a lot of erosion and things like that. So we expect that this pressure will be removed from the main city, and also the new cities will be developed with this in mind, so that we do not fall back to the problems that our capital city has faced. Prioritization of public transport and the non-motorized traffic is the other way. This plan actually has a number of projects within the plan which are supposed to be implemented, which would lead to this. And then compact settlements, it proposes compact settlements in cities, in towns, which will also reduce the need for movement. So basically, we expect that as population moves to cities, it's a two-way. The cities themselves need to be organized, but also we expect that rural areas will be left with spaces where we can have farms that are more resilient, where the farmers are more resilient to climate change, as opposed to the small farmers who may not be able to resist the vagaries of that come with climate change. Yeah, I would like to thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Vincent. And we are a bit behind, but also no drama. We want to wrap up by 4:30, I believe. And we will still have a final note on the New Urban Agenda report of Nepal. It's a bit going back with both feet on the ground on all the issues of housing and urban development.